It's podcast day. It's podcast day. Welcome in, friends. Welcome back to the heyBrownBerry YouTube channel. My name is Marceline. You are welcome here. This small introduction is my way of saying, hey, I'm still here. I know I promised you a December project wrap-up video, and I actually recorded it. I just did not edit or upload it when I planned to. I had a great holiday season, and instead of apologizing for not doing that on time, I will say I'm very grateful that the pace of my days just did not include podcast editing. I really had some soulful time with my family. I'm so happy that I prioritized that. But I did record snippets of things I wanted to share with you, so that's what I'm going to do in this episode. Thank you for being here. First up in this episode, I'd like to share with you one of my most recent favorite finishes. That's my field day cardigan. It's the perfect weather for the perfect cardigan. I feel that this is the perfect cardigan. It's one of my current favorites. This is the field day cardigan by Ozetta, and it's made in a Middlebrook Fiberworks vintage yarn. I'll put all the information about the yarn and pattern in the description box below. This is the wardrobe staple cardigan of my dreams. I'll give you a full look at the way it fits on my body and just some of the design elements. It's a unique construction. It actually starts with the shoulder and neckline, and I struggled at first with this. It's a drop shoulder. I love the fit on this. V-neck, slightly cropped, long sleeve, drop shoulder, all of those things are part of the silhouette that I most enjoy. And I finally picked a size in terms of ease that really works for me. Here's the back. I've been wearing this a lot. The buttons are handmade ceramic. I purchased those at the Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair. Perfect color and style for this cardigan. I actually tend to leave it buttoned and just pull it on like a pullover. I can highly recommend this one. I will put put the link to my Ravelry page in the description box as well. And yeah, really happy with this one. I would make this again. And it really informed a lot of the size selection decisions that I've been making with sweaters. So that's another plus for this project, is I tried to come down in my amount of ease with this one and hoped that it would work out, and it did. So I will be doing that from now on with my garment projects. Friends, I'm out by the fire and it's Christmas Day 2022. You can see a little smoke from my small campfire here. But this will be a short one for a couple of reasons. It's pretty chilly out here. I actually brought some things with me to show you, but they're also part of keeping me warm. We don't get a lot of cold days in Florida, so when we do, the knitters and the wool are out in full force. It's also a little bit rainy, so I want to protect my equipment, obviously, and not get too damp while I do this. The fire feels really nice at my back, so that's always an extra bit of cozy. So my kids have known how to crochet for a very long time. I taught them when they were really young. So to receive a handmade gift from them is such a special treat. It is like a full circle moment. Maisie made this blanket with wool from my stash. She's worked on it for months. It is the perfect size. It's huge. I can't even show you the whole thing. But this represents a lot of hours of stitching, and we love it. It's perfect for cuddling up and being cozy. It's all wool, different types of wool fibers in here. So that was a really nice thing to receive on Christmas. Hey friends, jumping in here to say I didn't realize it at the time of recording, but because I have some fairy lights behind me and my hair is moving around, there may be a bit of what looks like flashing lights in the next segment. I know some viewers may have issues with that. The lights themselves are not flashing, it was just the movement of my hair catching the light behind me and causing it to look like a little bit of blinking. So fair warning, if that's something that bothers you visually, feel free to just listen to me and look away. I may insert some video over my audio so that it's more stillness and not flashing. Yeah, hopefully it won't affect you too much. And yeah, you can always just look away and enjoy the conversation part with me. Thanks. I've changed locations. It started to rain outside. That was not going to make for a good recording situation. As cozy as the fire was, I just couldn't imagine sitting outside and getting damp. So I've come back indoors to my craft room. I don't know, today's recording, I feel like I really wanted to catch you up and connect this back to my podcast from the beginning of the month, where I was sharing my plans for making. But it was a rocky start. It was a bumpy start to recording. Anyway, here we are. Christmas Day, as I said, everybody is home. My kids are home from school, and the cold weather and rain is adding to an already really cozy day. Started early this morning with the traditional opening of the rest of the gifts. Since my kids were very small, they open one gift on Christmas Eve night and then get up early and open presents the next morning. That was a lot of fun. So I want to catch you up on one of the projects that I was working on when last we were together. I finished my Falling in Love socks, and I love them. I worked on these pretty consistently in the last week or so, and I found that as I got past the heel, I really started to pick up momentum. But I do like to learn about my own habits from each project, and what I learned from this project is that whenever I work socks from the cuff down, I really tend to lose steam. So I had started these and made some good progress on the first few stripes after the cuff, and then just lost the, I don't know, I lost some of the spark in working on it. Not because of the yarn or the colors, which I love, just the process of going round and round in stockinette, knowing that I still had the foot to go. I have above average sized feet, so knowing that I had a lot more inches to knit after the cuff was a bit deflating. But then I picked them up and started using them as a way to put a break in my day. So in between conference calls for work or transitioning from my work day into the evening, I would just start a stripe, and it was a nice transition. And then I was reminded that there are a lot of folks who use self-striping yarn as a way to count down towards their holiday celebration. So they'll do a stripe a day. And that reminder came at just the right time via Instagram, because then I thought, if I work these a stripe a day, that's going to feel like progress the whole way through the month. And it did. And I actually finished these before Christmas Eve. A lot of folks work on stripes with the intention of finishing by Christmas Eve. I actually got through these much more quickly once I started chipping away at them a stripe at a time. love them. I did decide to knit them for myself after all. I went back and forth as to whether or not I would gift them. And in my last episode, I actually gave away a skein of the yarn, which was a lot of fun to do. And the winner has already been contacted, and a skein of the yarn is on the way to that subscriber. So thank you for everyone who commented on the last video. Your encouraging words really mean a lot to me, because I feel the community when I read your comments. I really feel like we are in community with each other. So this is what I have left over from that skein. I just re-skein them into some minis. I do think these would make some lovely stripes on another pair of socks or even mittens. So I'm gonna hang on to those. Love them. The other project that I was working on the last time we were together is my Hadid, which is a short sleeve top by Lana Joy. I did make some progress on that as well, but as with any long-term project, it's not progress that looks like a significant amount of knitting, even though it is. One of the major things I've managed to do in the time between we were last visiting is to split for the front and back of the top. So this sweater is knit from the bottom up, and then you separate for what will basically become the armholes, and you seam it at the shoulders. I'm working on this sweater, so you'll see me looking down a bit so I can work my way across the rows. And I really have to say that this sweater is the right kind of project for right now, because as I've entered this new phase of the design where I'm working on one side of the top, which is the front, I have to come out of the rhythm I was in before when I was working in the round and really could flow with the stitching, and enter a new, different rhythm, which is to work the pattern flat. So now there's a right side and a wrong side instead of just doing the stitches all the way around. This pattern includes twisted stitches, so the texture that comes from twisting the knit stitches, I love it. In order to work it flat, now I'm having to do twisted purl stitches so that they'll present as twisted knit stitches on the front of the work. Not an impossible switch to make, but it does take stopping and doing that brain work, especially in these first few rounds. See, there I'm already talking about rounds again. Especially in these first few rows where I'm knitting it flat. I have to think, okay, this is a purl stitch that's going to be a twisted knit stitch, so I need to twist the purl. So it's not fast. None of this project is fast, really. But I'm finding that it means a bit of brain work. And initially, as is my way, that kept me from picking it up, because it went from being a pick up and put down project working in the round to I gotta stop and think so that I don't end up having to rip back a bunch of rows and making mistakes and so on. But I got back into it again. You may have heard me say before, I am really trying to normalize these long-term projects. I'm not in a rush for this top, although this week's weather reminds me that woolly tops are fantastic and really come in handy. So I would love to have it to wear, but even if it's not ready for another month, I'm still going to have opportunity to enjoy it. And the fact that it's short sleeve means that I'll probably be able to wear it for quite a few months, several weeks at a minimum, into the next season, the end of winter, beginning of spring. So it's flowing along, it's working out great. I did have to do some more figuring. This is a sweater that I'm really trying to refashion for myself and size properly. I'm reducing the amount of ease that would have been recommended for my size in the pattern, and I'm doing that by modifying the stitch repeats. I'm modifying some of the length of the textured part of the sweater. And if you're interested in why and how I'm doing that, I highly recommend you check out the episode previous to this one, because I talk about it in detail. I made a chart for myself in order to keep track of all of those changes. And now that I'm working the pattern back and forth and have to do some of the increases and other things and the wrap stitches in the knitting it flat, I had to revise my chart as well. So now I have to remember how to do the stitch pattern, knowing that the stitches that I was using, they have an in the round version and a knit flat version. So it's fine. It's all fine. I'm not having trouble with it, but it's just a reminder that if you want something done well, sometimes what that takes is just slowing down and doing a few more steps. Lost a stitch marker. Makers know. Got it. How has your December been? I really would like to hear how your time has been spent. Are you achieving what you want for the month, whether that's getting a lot of things done or not doing much at all? Go ahead and share with me in the comments. I feel pretty good about where I've reached with my projects. I'm pretty happy that the downtime I've been craving has happened for me. One of the things I added to this month was the start of a 100-day project. For me, that looks like journaling every morning for 100 days and adding in a yoga practice to my day. I don't always do the yoga first thing in the morning, although I feel like if I really put that structure around it, I'd be consistent with it. But right now, I'm just fitting in 20 minutes or so of yoga into the day and trying to put a nice little milestone boundary around that with the 100 days. Some of you have probably done a 100-day project before, or at least heard of it. It's nice because Drew is doing the yoga part of it with me, and having another person who has committed to that kind of focus really helps. You know, my accountability buddy, I call him. So I am trying to add that into December as a non-stressful part of December downtime. The journaling has been really great because it's a way to put quiet into my mornings. I tend to wake up fairly early, and adding writing my thoughts to the beginning of my day, I'm really seeing the difference in how my energy and my mood benefit from that. If you've got something like that leading into the new year, I'd love to hear about it. Either way, I hope that your month is going really well. I hope that the wishes you had for this time are coming true, and that you've had some time with people you love, whether you celebrate in some, conventional way or not. I just hope that it's been a month that you feel good about, and that your year is wrapping up in ways that you feel good about. I really appreciate any of the moments that you've shared with me throughout 2022. I know that we'll benefit from spending more time together as time goes along. I certainly love having this space to reflect, so thank you for that. And I look forward to continuing some more chat with you guys in the comments. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to our next visit together. Bye for now. Mwah.